You're going to have to come down. We're actually going to start taping this live from the Everett Theater in Middletown. So when we get down there, because we got a big auditorium and everything, you think you're nervous now?
It'll be like being on the David Letterman show.
Kiss 101.7 on your FM dial. And I was sitting here and I got kind of confused because I looked down. I said acoustic, easily listening. That don't sound like, oh, that's Sidney Joseph's.
That's the wrong way to get it.
I had to switch over there real quick.
Well,
Tony, you came into town, I guess it's 14 years ago.
1997.
Yeah, and then brought a radio station and put it on the airways, and went with, I guess, what would you call it, urban hip?
Okay, Kiss FM started on the air as what we call as a rhythmic station, where we played, across the board music from back then. I think it was Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and a mixture of.
So kind of that bubblegum sound back in them days.
Yeah.
He played boy bands.
Yeah.
And the plan on doing that was because 101.7 did not have a commercial history where there was already a built-in audience.
Right.
When the station changes format, regardless of what the ratings are, people know that the frequency was there. When we came on the air, people thought that 101.7 was a brand new channel that came on the air.
Right.
So the goal was to bring as much cume or community into the station as possible. So we brought in the base as wide as we could. So it got people talking that Kiss FM was on the air. And then we kind of got bombarded with like up to 8 stations out of Philadelphia who were coming on the air with playing hip-hop and R&B.
You mentioned that. I don't want to take away from it because we're going to get back to your format here in a minute, but you said that, and that's the problem that we have here. You got these big stations over here in Philadelphia that a lot of the people listen to, and and then you got the ratings that come out, and you got to buy those to be able to show them and all this kind of stuff. So support in this community. I know that you guys reach this community more than a lot of the radio stations within this community. And yet you don't get that local support, because you can't go in there and say, here's the book and here's what,
Right. Well, first, I stopped buying the ratings. That's number one. I stopped buying it because no matter what you do, you'll never get back the revenue for what you invested in.
No.
And we are still privately owned and operated, so we can't get a chain discount. But the one thing, if I could just be blunt and say the truth.
Be blunt.
Is,
That's what this show's all about, bluntness.
Prejudice for this size market number 77, is alive and doing very well.
You mean because of your format?
Well.
Or just because you're small?
The format attracts, the reality is 60% of our audience is black, 40% of the audience is white. But if you go into a particular car dealership, they'll bluntly turn around and say, we don't want those kind of people here.
We've had that before our own selves.
Because we've been on the airways now for 20 years, and we've run into that same situation where, for some reason, the community here doesn't really step up. I should say there are some in the community that do support you. I mean, and support me, and we're very grateful for that. But a lot of times we run into it because I heard you one day on the radio. I was driving to Baltimore to see my wife, and she was being treated at the time, and I was listening to your station, and I heard you on the radio, and you were doing this because you were upset. Because and you guys were talking about this, and that really caught my attention. I thought, here's somebody that's really reaching the masses. 'Cause I see what you guys bring. I hear the phone calls, and when we do something with you guys, connected with you guys, the hits that we get from your station's unbelievable. So I just want to get that out there. The amount of people that we reach and you reach is. People don't realize it. I mean, I don't know how to stress.
Well, I've been out on one of your location things. Remember we did a Happy Harry's back when we were doing some stuff, and you guys brought out a lot of people. What do you call that? A remote? Yeah, a lot of people. It was packed.
Yeah.
The whole parking lot. It was cool.
And I never forget that because the client complained that we brought too many people out.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the situation. But the point I wanted to get across is that there are mainly 3 FMs in Market 77 in Wilmington, Delaware. That's very underserved. for the marketplace. I mean, in a media market like this, you know,
Yeah.
you've been in radio,
Yeah.
there would be 25 local stations in a market like this. But there's only 3. And the difference between our format and our competitors in the marketplace
I thought it said pants.
is that
Okay.
They just put up this thing that says Tim pulled down here, and we all read pants. It said jacket.
Jacket, sit on my jacket. Tony, you got the same problem. You're all right.
Yeah,
You
okay.
just look like a bigger man, that's all.
oh, that we have the same jacket?
No, you're supposed to like tuck your tails.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you're
So
fine.
pull your pants
We're
down,
fine.
you'll
We'll
be
get
fine.
Back, look, back to the.
Oh, boy.
Are we having fun as Tony turns red now?
The thing is, it's not about black, it's not about white, it's about, you know, a community. You know, it's the community. And yeah, there are old school people who were raised that way. It's a chain reaction. But also, if I was another format, if I went another direction with the station, I probably would be doing double
Right.
in revenue.
Right.
But this is the format that I grew up listening to in New York City. This is the format that made my career in New York and Philadelphia. And this is the format that I'm dedicated to.
Right.
And this is the station I own. So I can do what I want to do with it while I'm alive. You know,
Right.
And if a car dealer doesn't want us, I would love to exploit these kind of people, but it would be all hearsay.
Right,
You know,
right,
unless I
right.
had them on tape and
Right.
played
Well,
it back.
we run into the same thing. I mean,
know.
and getting a community, and when I say the community, is there's some bigger pie out here. I mean, we've talked to government people and things like that. I mean, I don't want to throw names and
Right.
stuff out there, and we reach the same thing. You know, we get the same feed you get. Well, you know, you reach a lot, but you know, we don't want that particular kind.
Right,
Well, what's
right.
that particular kind?
Yeah, tell us.
You know,
You know.
yeah, tell me.
Yeah, last I saw, money was green, and it all spent the same way.
But yet, I can sit here and tell you that, you know, just like your station, you'll catch me listening to it occasionally. You'll catch different people, and just like us, I was blown away by a guy that did ponds on the Kirkwood Highway, and we did a little infomercial down there with him, and I'm standing there with him on a Saturday, and it was pretty crowded, and I said, well, what do you think? He says, it surprises me. I said, what do you mean? He says, who watches? I said, I told you a lot of people watch. He said,
Right.
no, but who watches? Doctors, lawyers, you know. So we reach all masses, and you do the same. There's a lot of young business guys out there that got money in their pocket. They're looking to spend that money, so you're reaching that market as well, you know. So they got to
I
look.
know a lot of
at-
old white guys with money that are hipping and hopping.
Well, see, that's the thing. The station right now, because of all these conglomerates, you know, that have taken over radio.
You know what that means, Tony?
Commercial break.
Yeah, it means
Okay.
commercial break. So
All
you
right.
hold that thought. We're going to get Melly Mel up here when we come back.
Yeah, bring Melly up.
I think it's important that we.
He's half the reason they got no business.
Yeah, that might be your whole problem. He's been there since day one. Stay with me right back right after this.